The movement of organisms is fundamental to life on Earth. An animal movement, it's like the glue that ties ecological and evolutionary processes together. And for the past 50 years, I'd say, there's been huge technological advancement and statistical advancement as well into how we study animal movement. And what's that enabled us to do is enable us to look at how animals interact with their environment and with each other. And it's being used the results and the findings from that are being used to really address some of the serious global environmental problems today. And what my research lab do, lead the Movement and Landscape Ecology Lab, is we use those tools, we build on them and we develop new ones, and we're applying them to primary industries in the Northern Territories. We're really sort of remote or biotelemetry devices is really the only tools that we can use, or the only way that we can monitor animals over these such vast and remote areas. So let me show you how we do it. So I want to give you an example just from one project. So you all recognize this. This is a magpie goose, 17165. We like to give all our animals names in the lab. So this goose was caught in November 2017 on a mango orchard down in Berry Springs. It was captured in a set trap. We measured it, obviously it's got a tag on it, and we put one of these around its neck. You can see it on it there. So this is a GPS tracking device. It's got solar panels on it, so it can last indefinitely. It has a GPS on board, and it logs the location of that bird every 10 minutes. Its longitude and latitude, and it also gives us an altitude. So it's almost in 3 dimensions. And actually in 4 dimensions because we can track it through time. The data is stored on board, and then when the bird comes into the detection range of a mobile phone tower, just like your common mobile phone tower that we use in GSM, it downloads that data back through the mobile phone network back to my computer. And I want to show you now what that data kind of looks like in those 4 dimensions, and how it's an incredibly rich data set, and how it can help inform us how these animals are interacting with their environment. So don't blink, because you might miss it, but it goes pretty fast. So let's go. So as you can see, as we're coming here, so as I said, this is November on Berry Springs. We've tagged the bird, we've released it. You can see it moving around Berry Springs and using different habitats now. It's using a mixture of habitats from different resources. It's now tracking across the Adelaide River. Oh, the computer's obviously having a bit of an issue. That's the CDU's BBC Micros. And it's using the wetland, and now it's going to track its way up to Lambell's Lagoon. The date now is around about Christmas time. It's using some more resources. All lamangers have gone just by now, so it heads off. It heads on its migration, so it's heading across to West Arnhem Land. And what's interesting about this as well is you can actually see it's tracking its way across using environmental features in the landscape. It's crossing the Wildman River. It uses the ranges there and up just in East Arnhem Land, and then it tracks out into West Arnhem Land. And it's actually going out to a wetland there. And it knows exactly where it's going if you watch this track. It's using features on the landscape to track its path. And look where it was looking for this. I don't even know what they are. It's an irrigated crop out there. And then it heads off to West Arnhem Land. So the video goes on a lot longer, and we actually track this bird as it goes off to its wetland breeding habitat. It sits on the wetland for a couple of months, and then travels back to the Darwin agricultural area the following year. So within that minute window there, you just saw 6 months in the life of a bird. And you can see how rich that data is, and you can understand exactly what that bird does. So you can imagine we've tagged hundreds of these birds, and we're tracking them over multiple years. So we can begin to really look at population processes. We can begin to look at what are the mechanisms, the patterns, the causes, and the consequences of how those birds are moving through space and time. We've been using this project. This project was funded by the Horticultural Innovation Australia for the mango industry, and we were looking for drivers on what was causing those birds to migrate to mango orchards, because it's a recent phenomenon that we're seeing these birds moving into horticultural land. And we can sort of develop management techniques, and we can test them and use this data to make assessment and predictions. We don't just work with birds in the lab. We've got projects looking at on feral pig, trying to look at feral pig movements and how we can manage feral pigs better in the top end. What might the impacts be of African swine fever if we have an incursion in the top end, because that would just spread like wildfire and wipe out the pork industry. We're looking at projects on at donkeys with DPIR down at Kidman Springs, again, all using this sort of technology. So you can, I just want you to imagine this is with all these different animals, but this is the data that we're producing, looking at how animals interact with their environment and with each other. I don't do it alone, of course. I've got a team of incredibly dedicated people. We spend a lot of time chasing critters around the landscape, trying to catch them. So we've got a team that work with, and I was going to pull our partners. I noticed everyone's got partners up in their talks today. But I actually thought if I actually put all our partners in, I need a couple of slides. So what I try to do is I try to categorize them. I thought that'd be a better way of showing it. And you can see all these, they're very diverse, different partners that we work with. But the fundamental goal is understanding animal movement to make better decisions around industry outcomes. And I'll say thank you. I'll leave it there.